Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tools with Terry on Thursday. Thursday today, that's Brian's day. What's he done? Bottled out. He's been trying to put cables in all week. He said, "You did my life for me because I did yours Monday." What a wimp. Anyway, so at the last minute, last night, I said, "I'll do your life here, Brian. You owe me. He owes me a lot now." So today, we're talking about spindle roughing gouges. First of all, bring in said earworms. They are the reputable cable guy, Brian, Pete from Twisted Trees, and Mark, the gentleman.
Can I just say, before you go on, to those in the chat, Pete and I are the two sensible ones. It's like dealing with a couple of kids with this pair.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. I tell you, the man is just
spoiled brats, a pair of them.
Not going to get any better.
So, that is the team today. I don't know what they'll be talking about because I'm telling you all about the spindle roughing gouge today.
And then we'll tell you what's
going to sit there quietly.
And they're going to sit there quietly. And
we might crunch biscuits and slurp coffee every now and then. Just
I might help
this is what
it digestive.
This is what it looks like. Oh, you can see the end of that.
My, that's a big one, Terry.
That's a big one. This one is an inch across.
It's never a big before.
So this is an inch spindle gouge, spindle roughing gouge.
Bigger on the screen.
There's also a 3/4 inch. That's what she said. 3/4 inch.
That's what Ruth says.
And back when days of old, when nights were bold and all that sort of thing, a spindle roughing gouge looked like this. Almost like a, where are we? You see the profile there? Very thin.
Very shallow without it.
Made of carbon steel.
The Chinese ones they still do.
Yeah, made of carbon steel. Works perfectly, but it does need sharpening more regular. So what do we do with a spindle roughing gouge then? It is designed to rough out material to round. That being square material or trees, branches, whatever you like. And that's all it's designed for, really. Should never be used on bowl blanks for cutting bowls. People have used them, and people have. You can see there, like where. Get a pointer here. I'll use this. You can see there is the tang, the shape of the tang. So it's very narrow and thin. Goes into the handle. The stress is put on this on a bowl. If it gets a catch, will snap right across there. I've seen people snap them. Wherever that bit goes, fine. This bit normally flies up in your face because you're holding it down in. So never use it to turn bowls, just to rough out spindles. Spindles, of course, for those that don't know, you probably all do, is the grain runs that way. In other words, that piece was standing upright as part of the tree. So,
to recap, Terry, it's for roughing out, yeah?
It's for roughing out, roughing down.
And it's only for use on spindles.
Only for use on spindles. And
it's got a bent profile like a gouge.
It has.
You should have a good name for that. Can't think what it is.
Yeah, there's almost a clue in the name, really, isn't there?
It was, yeah, but the name only changed recently. The name used to be called roughing gouge.
It did, yeah.
And there were so many accidents. People had so many accidents trying to rough out bowls that they changed the name to the spindle roughing gouge. Not that long ago.
Also abbreviated to the SRG.
The SRG. So,
I can read out who's in the chat before we go any further.
Yeah, you carry on, do that while I change the camera.
Right, so first in was Philip Clements. Then we've got Darren Callison, Chris Dodds, Pete from Twisted Trees, Clive Rogerson, Terry Bartlett, Joe Senior, Malcolm Douglas, Michael McEwen, Roy's the Boy, Paul Houghton,
just going to sharpen one. Carry on.
Guy Shed, Jennifer's Craft and Creations, Robert Robertson, Michael Howell, Roger Mills,
Glyn, the Yorkshire Git. Joe Senior. Setter.
Setter. Setter.
That's it, I think, for the list.
Okay, diddly. Lovely. Just sharpen that.
Mike Hughes in as well. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike. Hello, everybody. Thanks very much for coming. You may or may not learn something today, but it gives you a chance to chat to each other. Right, so the spindle roughing gouge is only used for spindles, as we said. And it's presented to the work roughly with the flute, level with the work. I don't know if you can see that. There. So the tool rest is usually below center, so that when the gouge is presented, the bevel must hang over the edge, not sit on there. If you see that very well, bevel shouldn't be there. Bevel should be over the edge. Right. With the tool handle low. You can have it that low if you want. Right up past it then. That's the way it starts, like that. If you go like that, all you're doing is scraping timber away. You're not cutting timber. As the blade comes down, it hits the sides, and that cuts off the straws, as it were, going through there. The grain cuts it off, and the bottom part actually shears it. So I'll just give you a demonstration that's slow. Handle down. If you lift it up, look, nothing's happening, just the timber's bouncing around. Bring it down. Nice tight to your hip. In. Starts to cut. Usually if you start, never start at the ends, either end. If you start slightly in, if you start in the middle, you're chipping it all the way out. So I'll speed it up, show you what I mean. Roughly 1500 revs. You face the gouge the way you're going. My gouge is facing that way. We're round there and work yourself back.
Trevor Reed's in, right, Trevor?
Oh, Trevor, I'm just going to turn this hand over the other way. It's getting in the way. Now, you don't really want to tell if it's round by putting your hand on it. You can put the tool on it, and it makes a nice ordinary noise. You can hear it's round. As you move it to non-round, it starts to bounce. So you get to there, of course. Okay. You see the tool's now cutting, not scraping.
Shavings are completely different as well, aren't they?
When you get to round, the shavings are totally different now.
Douglas Mungham's just joined. Hi, Douglas.
Hello, Douglas.
Just give a bit of a shout out here to Roy, the boy, who's not feeling very well today. I hope you recover quickly, Roy. He said he's sitting up in bed watching on the TV.
Get better soon, Roy.
When we get to there, we don't really want to go for...
And also, Gary had to cancel yesterday because he's not feeling well either.
Oh, right. Well, they all get well soon.
Yeah.
When you get to about there, turn the gouge the other way and proceed to do the same off the end of that one. Never come in from the end. So there's a roughing cut. It's roughed down. Man, this is a bit wormy, this thing as well, but you can see it's fairly rough. Just turn that to that one. Rough as anything, yeah? So now you would use something like a skew chisel or a finer chisel. You can actually use, we lift it up slightly, a spindle roughing gouge. If you hold the gouge like that, that's for roughing, that's cutting, and it's just peeling the wood off as it goes.
Right, Douglas Mungham's got a question.
Yeah.
What if the bowl blank is in spindle orientation, i.e. an end-grain bowl? Personally, I would still say don't touch it with a bowl gouge.
What the problem you got there, of course, is if you do it, you can't hollow out end grain with it. So you will have to go into the inside of the bowl. I wouldn't touch it. Bowl gouge does the job a lot better, and it's safer.
Agreed.
You get a catch with it.
Don't ever get into the habit of any type of bowl. Just don't even bother. Don't go near it.
The shape of the gouge as well, it has very sharp wings, very sharp points on the wings rather than a swept back like you have on your spindle gauge.
If you were going to use that, you'd have to grind the wings back. Right, yeah, you have to grind the wings off, wouldn't you, to make it into a bowl gouge shape.
Yeah, it would be very, very easy to get a catch in a bowl with that tool. I wouldn't go near it.
Right, so it can also be used for peeling cuts on each wing. This side to that wing. Can you see that all right? Or?
Yep.
Just lift the handle. So start the, actually that's, and that wing, I don't know, that's a better shot there, maybe.
Baz is in. Hi, Baz.
Oh, Baz.
Afternoon, Baz.
As you see, handle low. It's just rubbing the bevel now, look. Bring it up. As you bring it up, starts to cut. Starts to peel.
Rex B's in. Hi, Rex.
Hello, Rex. Right, so we could get a nice finish with this. We could hold the gouge with the wing. I'll do it this way actually so you can see it. With the wing down. Other hand. Providing the gouge is
showing off now.
Bring it onto the bevel up. All we're doing now is rubbing the bevel. Gradually move around till we get a cut. And we can do a cut across
David J. Heath has just joined. Rex is asking, can it be used for tendon cuts? That's what Terry's just done.
Yeah, I'll show you again, Rex, if you see that one. There's a tendon cut, basically. Just needs cleaning up on the end. You can use them for round, make things round up. You can even use it to mark, if that's an inch across there and you want an inch gap for everything you're going to do. Oh, I'm making a dibber. It's an inch gap.
How's Seth?
Hello, guys.
Afternoon, Seth.
If you know that's an inch or whatever measurement you want, flip it over, mark it. Where's your marks? You can use it as a skew. Keep the bevel on, but use just one wing.
Oh, I would say that's quite an advanced technique.
Yeah, I would say it's quite a bad technique.
It is, but it can be used. Look, you just got to be aware of where the wings are. But as you can see, you need clearance to get it around. But it can give you a good finish.
You can actually see the wood shining there.
It can give you a very good finish when it's just a roughing gouge. It's just ripping things off. It's full of woodworm, by the way, so I think that's why I picked it.
Michael says do the other end. And Michael Howell says do the other end, and you'll have it as a rolling pin. Lol.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, where are we? Camera, right?
No, Baz, it's not a new tool. Terry's just doing a guide to different tools. Today's spindle roughing gouge.
To be honest, when I'm making rolling pins, I do like 99% of it with a spindle roughing gouge.
Nearly all of it, yeah. So you can get a good finish with it. Must remember, if you never just go straight in like that, because all you're doing is scraping it away. In fact, we'll show you if I go like that. Or you can see it on your camera. You maybe see how rough that is. Can you see how rough that is there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's just holding the tool horizontal.
That's just
and
well.
using
That's
it
what
as
you
a
do. You
scraper.
rip.
Yeah.
I'm trying and find a better place where it will show actually the camera. So just do it there. There's a complete novice. Look. You can see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Splinters even. And what does it take? Handle in, bring it down. Let the bevel rub. Bring it up. You can see it now, just making a bit of dust. So it's ready to cut now. It's on the bevel, but ready to cut. The difference is quite a bit. So the tool's actually doing the work. You're not blunting the tool by continually bringing the timber across the top and rubbing the, because it is a small edge, obviously. You'll have to sharpen it more often. Just let the tool do the work. There's no rush.
Sure.
You want to do it faster, you just turn the speed up a bit, but rock yourself backwards and forwards. And we're doing this with it. Oh, you can't see it really. Let's change that one. Hold the tool there and rock backwards and forwards with your body. Okay. If you put your finger on I mean, I put my hand there like so, and then hold the gouge, and then slide my finger along, so I'm providing the tool rest is parallel. It's quite easy. Get the cut all the way along to the thickness you want it.
So basically, what you're saying is it's definitely a cutting tool, not a scraper.
Yeah, and don't do this with it. Oh, just standing here, but it's only a foot away, so I'll do this. Actually, move your body to where you got to be.
So Clint says so the same applies as with all other gouges. ABC, anchor, bevel, cut.
Anchor, bevel, cut.
Agreed.
One mistake I make quite frequently is I forget to sharpen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I
you're
did
knocking
sharpen it.
corners off of squares most of the
Yeah.
time. It can be quite blunt and still do that effectively. And then you sort of come to do
So this
something
is-
where you actually want it to cut properly.
I think you're right there, Pete. I think the two least sharpened tools we use are the parting tool and spindle roughing gouge.
Yeah.
Because you use them so infrequently,
And
you
think,
forget
do I
to
need
sharpen them.
bother? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Agreed. I agree.
I've just sharpened this carbon steel one. As I say, you can see the flute is very, very shallow. It's probably about 50 years old. I think it was 50 years old when I got it. 50 years ago.
It's 150 years old then.
Yeah. Not as old as
Ooh,
Brian yet.
unkind. Unkind.
Let's see
Brian,
if this
did you
one
make that
cuts.
one?
Let's see if this one cuts this good. Seem a little bit high there.
Yeah, thinner tool.
Even though I sharpened it, it's not that good. It's not that good an edge compared to the high-speed steel one,
Yeah.
but it is old, like Brian. So that's basically the roughing gouge. I'll just move this out of the way.
I like the way you slipped that in there today, just like Brian.
Yeah.
Considering
And to
you're older than me.
Recap how this thing's made. All right, that one. If you can imagine this.
Ben Jammon's in. Hi, Ben.
Ben.
Oh, good afternoon,
Hello.
Ben.
Imagine this skew chisel. Pretend that's 3 or 4 inches wide.
Doug Miller's in as well. Hi, Doug.
Hi, everybody.
Doug.
This one started out a piece like that. Okay. got white hot, forged, bent up and turned. There is a link actually. The description of my of the thing here. Brian will put the link in again, but it is in the description. I can't remember the chap's name now. He makes these, and as well as other gouges, other tools, handmade on an anvil and former and all the rest of it. And he shows you exactly how to make a spindle roughing gouge. And how he tempers it. Now you can tell if it's been tempered properly if you get a file. One file. Doesn't mark. It
Terry
doesn't mark.
referring to. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah,
the gentleman Terry is referring to is a guy called Walter Sorrells. He's actually a knife maker.
Yeah.
But he has a whole series on making tools. So I'll paste that link. That's the link to the spindle roughing gouge, guys. If you want to go and have a look at that, he shows exactly how the tool is made, and he has a good emphasis on how weak the tang could be.
I have seen these things
break.
I haven't broken one, but I have seen them break.
See, I think they missed an opportunity when they changed it to spindle roughing gouge. They should really have called it the bent skew.
The bent skew, yeah. Yeah, they could. because you can use it as a skew.
You can use it as a skew. It's got a tang like a skew. And it can only be used on spindle like a skew.
Just saw the message, Roy.
I'm just going to change my specs. I've got the wrong ones on. Better. I can see it now. Hold up. As a skew.
Roy, you'll find the streaming is always a little bit behind. I'm watching it on StreamYard, and it's about 15 or 20 seconds before. Well, maybe not that, but 12 seconds maybe. By the time it comes up on YouTube.
On the bottom of your screen, Roy, make sure that the little red dot is all the way over to the right-hand side, and it should say live, because you might just be a few seconds behind on the stream. The chat is always absolutely live, up to date. Did you catch that, Terry?
I was looking at the camera, actually, to see if I could try and focus the camera better, but then I touched the work. That's right. But you see, there's a cove, and you can do beads as well. But there's a lot easier, better tools that will do the job easier.
It's a lot easier to do with an actual skew or a spindle gouge.
So this is basically just use it to rough out. Bring it up, rock yourself backwards and forwards, and wasteward. And it's a good feeling to wasteward.
Yeah, you can be quite aggressive with it too, can't you? You can take a lot of timber off. Yeah. It'll remove a lot of timber.
Yeah, it's a good strong tool.
Lawrence Brigade just said
that the fancy American spindle roughing gouges are milled from a solid bar. I think Thompson do that. It's a shame they do, actually, because you then get some people saying, oh, well, now I can use it on a bowl because it's milled from a bar. It doesn't change the cutting edge. It's still got the same profile on the edge, and it isn't suitable for cutting a bowl with.
As you can see, waste timber. Some of the professionals, well, like Robbo and all the other people that actually do it for a living, to make spindle, what they call job lots, etc. Probably won't take this out of their hand until they've done 10 of them, and they'll be gone through in 10 seconds, each one. And this is small, to be honest. This is, tiny compared to some of the bigger ones, 3 inches across. But then if they're turning huge diameters, fair enough. Well, not much more I can say about the spindle roughing gouge, really, except be aware it's got sharp corners, and if they dig in, things fly off. So just to recap, the way you're going, right, just face the tool the way you're going. Rock yourself backwards and forwards.
So basically, going the other way. So when you're actually doing that, Terry, you're cutting at, if you put a clock on it, that would be 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock on that wing. So you're using the
Yeah.
bottom wing,
I'm just using the middle there now at the moment.
straight
You
on
see
the
I'm
middle.
just straight in the middle there.
just at the bottom of the.
The only time you use the bottom wing is if you're doing a peeling cut, basically. Can't peel too much now. I'm getting closer to the drive center.
Okay.
Getting cut. Right again. Basically, you're cutting mine. You're not cutting that way by just scraping. Okay. Just getting
I'll
awfully.
be using one of these on Monday night, Terry.
You will.
Yeah.
What are you making Monday night?
Oh, we'll have to see.
Right.
Can't,
Have you covered the fact you can cut forward and backwards?
Yeah, I won't do it on this piece. This
No, I
one.
think that's a bit.
Just take that out of the way. Get another piece. Got another piece here somewhere. There's a piece.
so Rex B said he's actually scared of using the tool because of the time. He says he's been at a club meeting and a member bent it in half. Yeah, absolutely.
Never be afraid to use them, though, Rex.
But don't be afraid, Rex. If you use it
Don't be afraid,
correctly,
just be cautious.
you'll be grand.
I actually saw a video the other day of somebody on Facebook asking about the Jet 12, whatever it is, lathe being underpowered because they can stop it. And they were cutting with the tool rest well down below center.
Yeah.
So effectively, they were levering the tool between
Into
the
the
tool rest
work.
and the wood.
Yeah.
And it stopped the lathe.
If you notice, I don't know if you have noticed actually, but that's right. I'll take that off. I don't use a 4-prong drive. Very rare. Only if it's on a log, maybe, which is a bit rubbish. I use the stab center. I'll show you why.
Roy would like to know what the wood is at, please.
Oh, this is a piece of beech. The other one was a piece of ash. This stab center is spring loaded. I can't push in with that actually. Push in with that though. All right. You can get different size stab centers.
Cyclone and Jojo's just joined.
Hello, man. How are you? Right. So we'll put the timber in.
Good afternoon, Cyclone and Jojo.
Well, if I spin it now, take out my knockout bar.
Take the knockout bar, always helps.
All right. Now,
Yeah, Ben's going to return his chainsaw. He says every time it touches the concrete, it goes blunt.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
Ben,
it's a
no good to
problem
you.
with them.
Right. If I jam this one in, that's what happens. What you do is tighten it a bit more and don't jam it in. All right.
That's liable to happen if you're scraping it rather than cutting it.
Yes. If you cut it,
So the tool rest
cuts,
height
you
is very as important as well as the angle of the tool. The tool rest has to get the tool to be at the right angle. So if it's too low or too high, it makes a difference.
turn out a little bit faster.
There we go. Darren's assisted Ben. So if he cuts the concrete at the right angle, it'll sharpen the blade rather than blunt it.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that'll work for you, Darren.
Can cut backwards.
There you go, just like that. That's a whole lot more difficult than it looks. Yeah, to say.
Or that way.
Now you're just showing off.
Steve Fleming's just joined us, Dave.
Afternoon, Steve. No, it's not Monday, it's Thursday.
You can almost cut a thread with it. No?
It's
You
payback.
get the right speed on thread. Look at that.
Yeah, it's,
Told you it was a
Pretty
bent
ro-
skew, didn't I?
It's a
pretty
bent
rough looking
skew.
thread.
Actually, you
What's
can cut,
this?
yeah,
So
you
sorry.
can cut backwards with a skew as well.
Yeah.
I know you taught me that the other day. There. Yeah, it might take a while to master that technique. I think.
Darren says, what is this sorcery? I'd say it's not sorcery, it's 40 years of experience.
It is sorcery, John. You're absolutely
Sorcerer.
right.
Bring that out a
Although
bit.
you wouldn't think it the way he just jammed his tool rest into a moving
Yeah.
piece.
No,
Mr.
you
Bray.
wouldn't, fair enough. Mr. Bray, switch the
Just
lathe
for
off
those that,
before you
just for
move the
those
tool.
that do like to see it, this is a skew. Look, same thing as that.
Oh, here
Exactly
we
the
go.
same thing. This is
Oh,
bent.
he's go show off now.
Right? No,
You
that's
better
it.
save the skew to the skew one.
I'm going
I
in.
don't get annoyed because I got one of those too.
I'm not doing it for Mark's benefit, but it will cut backwards. Look.
And there's no camera trickery involved in it.
No, they
So
just
that's
do
for
that.
another time. That's for another time.
Yeah, Terry's got 40 years of experience, and that's his 80th tool rest.
Yeah. I got so good one time, I sharpened these tool rests up and just jammed them in and peeled a cut right back.
Yeah.
Did the peeling cut straight off.
Yeah. You're making veneer, were you?
This is the standard one that you normally get with the Robert Sorby kit. This is a Robert Sorby one. Is donkey goes over as well. Small,
Absolutely
tiny.
right, Chris.
Totally, Chris, totally.
What's he saying
Chris Dodds has just said even hobbits make mistakes.
Even hobbits make mistakes. Yeah, the thing is, Chris, no, that's a smaller one. Just does the same job.
Actually, that's a 3/4 one. I quite like that one. I've got one of those.
It is nicer than the 3/4 one.
That's what mine is, 3/4. Works fine for me. I haven't done any. If you're doing great big long things, I suppose 4 foot or something, you might want a bigger.
What
Bigger
you're working on,
diameter, really.
huge. Yeah.
But
It's just take you longer to get there, wouldn't it?
Yep.
You see how it cuts nicely. You got the angle right. It's cutting. It's not wearing the wood timber away.
yeah, actually, producing shavings rather than sawdust.
Yeah. Which is always better.
Chris has chimed in again and says, "Oh, size does matter." Well,
I think we've used that one now. That's going to snap without doing anything.
depends who's asking, Chris.
And one last bit of demo. I'll put this piece on. Works just as good.
Lost the chat.
Rex has got a question.
Yes, Rex.
Which tool is the best to make the wood round with the least vibration?
With the least vibration.
Well, it
Um,
depends on the
well,
wood.
yeah, if it's square or this stuff, then spindle roughing gouge. Every tool is going to make it vibrate. You not get a skew on there, will you? Well, it'd be a bit dangerous. You could use a bowl gouge. A bowl gouge would do it. In fact, if you're using timber with branches coming out of it and they've been sawn off and odd knots and all the rest of it, it's probably better to round down with a bowl gouge because you've got a steeper angle and you got swept back, you see. So it would shear cut. I don't know if I can show you that. I'll turn it to that one. As the timber comes down, it shears from there down. Yeah. So if you turn the gouge slightly, and you're coming along this way, it's running down and shearing off as it goes. Whereas if you just this one, look on the right, yeah, this one over there. That way. This one, You see, shears on. I'll exaggerate it, but if you can see the gap there, use a bigger one. See a bit better. It shears down on both, right, then cuts to the middle. Once you're starting to cut, yeah, can't do it by hand because there's a knot there, but we will spin it up.
Rex has followed that up with the vibration hurts his arms, which stops him turning anymore as it makes his arms go dead for the day. Rex, what you probably want is a nice, heavy, slightly longer handle. You're not going to hold the end of the handle, but that will help to absorb the vibration a bit.
Yeah.
And can you get it into your side or your hip or anywhere? I don't know, because that takes the vibration.
Yeah, it needs to be locked into your body.
Yeah, locked into your body. It could be that you're actually squeezing the thing too hard and you're getting sort of what they call white knuckle because you're holding it like for grim death. You can hold it with a couple of fingers, really, providing it's locked into your side, pushed in, as long as it doesn't move. You don't have to squeeze it till you get white knuckles. Just gently hold it. Just turn that up a little bit. Now this is a gnarly old piece. You wouldn't want to use anything like a skew chisel on it, or you could use a bowl gouge. You can also use a spindle gouge. Rock backwards and forwards so it starts to go round. Remember not to come in from both ends. So that'll be taking the bark off as well. Now,
Hey, can you zoom out so we can see your right hand as well?
Sorry?
Can you zoom out so we can see your right hand as well? Is that possible?
Yes. I can. 1 second.
Dr. Bob's in. Hi, Dr. Bob. See
Good
you for a while.
afternoon, Dr. Bob. He's in the VA hospital in Washington, D.C. today. What you doing there, Dr. Bob? Look at messed up workshop. In the name of goodness, Terry.
Apparently you're coming over to clean it up.
You could have had that cleaned up before you put a show on. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, is that right sort of angle? Hang on, it looks a bit.
Yeah, I should do it.
That's good.
Right
That's
there?
good. Yep, that'll do.
Okay.
If you can just sort of show it tucked into your body
Like
and
this.
a light grip.
Like this. You can just see the bevel there. I'll just bring the flatter in so you can see it touch. There's the bevel on the work, basically 45-degree angle, touching the work like so. So that's the height it's going to be. Walk up to the lathe, grab an ode, into my hip.
Turn on and do some cuts. Perfect.
Turn it on, okay.
So you got to get your feet in the right place. If you've got a longer piece, you need to have your feet in the
your feet
correct place.
need to really be shoulder width apart, I would think.
Yep.
This is a tough old bit of work. Hang on, it's a bit of knot, I think.
Big knot or something there, was it?
Yeah, there. I'll get it.
Rex Pierce said, is the bevel centered or below center?
Is what, sorry?
Is the bevel centered or below center?
So the tool, you should just get your the cut in on center, really, if you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cutting on center.
Well, it's just coming over and down nicely onto the tool. Just about center of the piece of wood.
It's basically, if you imagine the tree, it's got rings. This is basically slicing. You can see it that way. Try this way. See, it's slicing the rings away from the tree each time.
See, even that piece of wood isn't round yet, and it's still not vibrating much. So that's why I asked Terry to change to that view.
Still not quite round, but get there now. Just tighten that up a bit. Starting
Steve
to move a
Clements
bit.
having to go. See you later, Steve.
Bye, Steve. Thanks for turning in. You can almost see when you get round because you get shavings coming off like that. One line. And you know you're round on that area.
Our Ben's getting cheekier by the day.
That's
Rex,
right, we just switch them off.
the tool rest will be below center, so that the bevel contact on the wood is on center.
Don't have too big a gap that your fingers could go down through either. So when the gap gets to that sort of size, move it in.
That would be painful.
And remember, the bevel must not sit on the tool rest. So don't be too close. So this actual handle got to go that way. That's roughly, well, that is actually tiny, 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 bit low. That's on center now. The cutting edge is on center. Right, and as you can see, well, that just changes that camera. On center, you
Steve
see.
Ash has turned up. Oh, Steve.
Hello, Steve. You can see that's cut in now, look. Actually cutting, not scraping.
Woodturning by Barry has joined us. Good afternoon, Barry.
Good
Barry.
afternoon.
The thing is, Rex, you're not in a hurry.
No.
So
You
you
spend all
can
day.
adjust the tool rest for every tool that you use. That's not a problem. But the thing to do is to stand in the right position, hold the tool in the right position, touch it against the wood with the lathe off, and the bit of the blade that's doing the cutting is the bit that wants to be on center. So the cutting edge should be on the center. If that means that the tool rest is below center, then that will vary depending on the thickness of the tool, the angle you're holding it, your height, the lathe height. So it's personal.
Greg Alexander's just joined.
And to be honest, if
you're not in a
if
great
you-
hurry, then you can adjust it before you turn the lathe on.
if you can have it above center. Okay.
Good afternoon, Greg.
Now that's way above center now. So if I put that tool there, it's not even going to cut, is it? But if the lathe was leaning forward, that would be below center, wouldn't it? So really, if you're a turner, like if you're somebody like I don't know, Pete, Mark, you know, all these blinking giants.
Giants, yeah.
If you're a hobbit, you can do it the way I'll do it. But if you're a giant, you just adjust because their height. They start up here. These people. So they got to have the tool rest here, really, and cut along this way, on center. Do you know what I mean?
Got to tell people in the chat. Terry was in my workshop the other week, and he was using my lathe, which I believe is about 3.5 to 4 inches taller than his lathe.
Something like that.
It was quite comical.
We didn't have a box big enough, did we, Pete?
Nope. Turning with his hands above his head.
Sorry.
Shocking.
I don't know what their mothers fed them when they were younger, but you know.
Yeah, but they're big lads, aren't they?
I'm cutting a little bit above center, but because of the diameter of this piece of timber, it's still doing it. As you can see, the shaving is being cut off, not worn away.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's sort of a tolerance area where you can go from center to, depending on the size of the wood, say between 1/8 and 1/4 inch above center, and you still get a good cut.
It'll work between each one, yeah.
But go below center and it's fighting you all the way.
Suddenly got very cold in my house.
Ghost just walked by. The devil, probably.
Had the window open.
So the holes you keep drilling in your walls.
Oh, so there's only one. I only drilled one hole. But I forgot to shut the window. It's freezing.
Now, I could use the carbon one again. This one is, for those that's not been in long, very old. Where are we? Very old fashioned. Very old, but that's old fashioned. Original carbon steel spindle roughing gouge. As you can see, it's very shallow flute compared to this one. And needs to be sharpened more often. But I've had this for about 30, 40 years. And it was about 30, 40 years or more before I got it. So, see, same technique. But it doesn't cut brilliantly compared to. So, I don't use it much. But at one time, this is all I had.
I find the carbon steel tools, you have to drive them into the workpiece a bit harder.
You've got to really push them, yeah.
Yeah, to get them to work.
But they do work. Whereas the modern ones, actually.
Is that just because you
could this be used as a finishing final cut tool, or just roughed around?
Well, I mean, this is slightly wet where it's probably cut 6 months. But on the drier timber, I did show just now, you can actually use, you can get a good cut with it. Not a finishing probably, but you just sand it out. By angling, we're already that way, so I'll do it for this side. If you angle the tool so your bevels rub in there, right, not cutting it, as you bring it back, it starts to cut. There you go.
You can see from the shavings there, that's a finishing cut.
Till I get to a split on the end, but yeah.
So Roy, the boy's asking, what make is your spindle roughing gouge?
So hang on, just let me show you that sack. Right, turn that up to
Looks like a
there.
hamlet.
You see the difference? You may be able to, I can see the difference, whether you can. That's a roughing cut, that's a finishing cut. Almost like a skew cut there, in fact. A little bit of sand in, that'll be, I can't get the camera any closer, it goes out of focus. Sorry, this one here is, can't remember what this is now. This is a Ben mail made in Sheffield, high-speed steel over that few years. But I've also got a, what's this here? This is the Henry Taylor. Where are we? Wrong one. There. This one is another version of this, I think. Longer. Because this one's been ground so much. Oh no, this is a record power. I thought that was a Taylor. It's a record power. So that's a record power one. Longer handle. Bigger timber.
Distinctive red coloured handle.
Yeah, and this one here is a bow gouge, so I'm not going to show you that one. Pick the wrong one up. Where is it? That's the one. And that's a rubber sorby one. So that's 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch. So you can use any of this 3/4 inch. That does the same job.
Amazing.
Cut coves with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the handle on that tool is my preferred shape of handle. And I cut most of those, my own handles myself, to that shape, using nothing but the spindle roughing gouge. And then, of course, I'm handling those every day, so I want a good finish on them.
There's a nice finish on that.
Gouge.
Yeah.
I might touch it with a 180 and then oil it, and that's it. Job done.
That's it. Job done. One tool. And obviously you can peel the ends down. This one's a little bit blunt on that corner. I need to sharpen it. You can peel the ends down in a peeling cut. Basically, get it not to cut up, and then just bring the chisel up, jam the wood. When it jams, you see, that just goes around.
Your stem sander.
There's a split in the end there, and it's just stuck in the split. But that stem sander just spun. Now, if that had been the other sander, that would have been probably off the lathe. Yeah.
That would have been a YouTube viral video.
Beautiful. Oh, we're still spinning that. Do it again. Actual fact, I think the tool rest is loose. It is. That's what happened there. The tool rest is loose. Old arthritic hands.
Tool rest in 40 years.
My arthritic, I can't tighten it up very much because of the problem with my wrists. But a peeling cut, rather than just stabbing it in. Or as Brian said earlier, a veneer cut. And when you're using it, don't be afraid. Don't just do this. And then an hour later, you've got down a quarter inch. You've got down a quarter inch. Get the tool. Be confident with it. Don't squeeze the living daylights out of the tool. Just hold it nice firm. On, lift, take a cut. Try and get rid of it as quick as you can.
Get after it.
You'll get more confident then as you use it. And when you get a catch, don't worry about it. Straight on. Don't do any more of that. That's going to fly apart now. There we are. That's another piece gone. Brian, could you come over, please, and clean all this up?
No, not a chance.
It's messy.
Clean it up yourself, you lazy so-and-so.
Clean it up, Brian.
Even better, Terry. Don't bother.
Robbo suggests when roughing out its only waste, remove it.
Yeah.
Just
don't be afraid of it. Don't tickle it. Take it away. If you think I've got to get down to 2 inches diameter and it's 6 inch diameter, waste it away until you get down to 2 1/4. Then refine it with your other tools. That's the way to do it.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Where are we? There. There we are.
Welcome, Rex. And Stuart Batty is one of my heroes, and he says, if you feel beat up after wood turning, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, it should be just
where you stand, how you hold it. You're not supposed to be fighting the wood. It should just work. So it shouldn't be beating you up.
Work. Let the tool do the work.
Let the tool do the work. If you're starting to push on the tool, it needs a sharpen. Simple as that. Check the sharpness first. Then check you got the right technique. Hold it lightly, well, firm, but not, and just slide along. Then it work. And don't forget to push the tool in as you lift it, because you want it to take a nice cut. Preferably 1/8 to 1/4 inch if you're rounding something. I know some people take 1/2 inch cuts or more, especially if it's wet timber.
Yeah.
Then the timber piles up around you, shavings, and off you go.
And you call Brian in.
Then you call Brian in. He cleans it up. Well, you don't call him in actually. You just say, no, I'm going to leave the workshop like it is. And then he gets a flight over because he can't stick it. He's probably crying now because I've left that like that. Did I show you that?
No, he's not.
Show you that, Brian? Did I show you that, Brian?
No, he's not. He doesn't care.
Brian says he doesn't care, but we all know he does.
Yeah, look. It's raining shavings. Right, are there any other questions before I leave? Where are we?
Oh, blimey.
They're still dressed. They're still there. They're still there.
Tell us you're going to do that.
No, I thought I wouldn't do that. Oh, no, that's why
I was asleep then.
I was checking on you, Mark, you see. Right. Thanks, everybody, for coming in today. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's just a basic Twitter in a way, because I had to do something today because Brian cried when he found out that he didn't want to do another live. Did one for me, panicked, cried. Yeah.
Well, got a nice piece of wood on the lathe, it's ready to go.
He said he was going to do
you'll see it on Monday night.
So he's dug a hole for himself now because he owes me now.
Monday.
Oh, no, not Monday night, because Mark's doing it. You'll see it next Thursday.
I'm doing next Thursday, by the way, because it's Tools with Terry on Thursdays.
No, you're not. You're doing next Monday.
So it could well be the Spindle Gouge next time. Or sorry, Brian?
You're next.
Oh, I'm doing Monday as well. Yeah,
Monday.
You've been cut out, mate. Once you leave it, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah, okay, Terry. I'll hold you to that now, Terry. That's fine. You're doing Mondays and Thursdays.
Not blinking likely.
We'll see how that
everybody
goes.
Hope you've enjoyed yourself. I know it's a mundane to most people, but a little
Terry
refreshing
Bartlett's
does
just
help now
said,
and again.
Terry Bartlett's just said, we'll have this demo at the club, please, Terry.
Well, I'm supposed to be making and colouring a sycamore bowl on the 17th, is it? I can't remember what day it is now. Or whenever in
November.
November.
We've got a book now just to do making shavings.
But if you want me to make
actually, it's a
shaving
very
this down,
valuable thing.
yes, it could. I will do the tools at the club for everybody at some point. Well, there we are. Right, team. I'd like to thank everybody else again, and hope to see you next time. So, for the moment, it's a bye from me. It's bye from Brian.
Goodbye.
Peter.
Bye, everyone.
And Mark.
Arrivederci.
What? Leave it there.
Two professionals. One. Not saying anymore. See you all
Just
next
you be
time.
careful. That's no way to talk about Mark.
On that
Don't
note,
even.
goodbye.